Africa is a continent rich in diversity, not only in terms of its landscapes and wildlife, but also in its human population. Among the various communities that make up this vibrant continent, there is a notable presence of white populations in several countries. These communities primarily consist of descendants from European countries who have settled in Africa over centuries, influenced by colonial histories and migration patterns. Let's take a look at 15 African countries with the largest white population. 15. Lesotho. Lesotho is a small country completely surrounded by South Africa. It has a smaller number of white residents, primarily of British descent. These people came to Lesotho when it was a British protectorate, before it gained independence in 1966. Many of them were involved in missionary work or business. Today, although they are a small part of the population, they participate in various aspects of life in Lesotho, contributing to education, healthcare, and development projects. English and Sesotho are the official languages of Lesotho, which helps everyone communicate. The presence of people with British ancestry has had an influence on Lesotho's education system and religious practices. 14. Mauritius. Mauritius is a small island in the Indian Ocean with a diverse population, including a community of people with French ancestry. This started when France controlled Mauritius during the 1700s. Even though Mauritius became independent in 1968, the French culture and language have stayed important. French is still spoken by many people and influences local traditions, especially in cuisine and the legal system. Besides the French, Mauritius is also home to people of Indian, African, and Chinese descent, making it a melting pot of cultures. This blend of influences makes Mauritius special, with a rich history and a colorful mix of traditions and languages. 13. Madagascar. Madagascar is an island country off the southeast coast of Africa. It has a noticeable number of people with French ancestry because France controlled Madagascar from the late 1800s until it became independent in 1960. Many French people and their families chose to stay in Madagascar after independence. French is still an official language there, used widely in government, schools, and business. The French influence can be seen in Madagascar's food, which often includes French dishes, and in its buildings, which have a European style. This mix of French and local Malagasy cultures makes Madagascar a unique place with a rich and diverse heritage. 12. Egypt. Egypt is a country in northeastern Africa known for its ancient pyramids and the Nile River. It also has a diverse community, including Greeks, Armenians, and other Europeans. These people came to Egypt many years ago for trade and business, especially in big cities like Cairo and Alexandria. Even though Arabic is the main language spoken in Egypt, these communities have kept their own languages and traditions too. They are involved in various jobs like businesses, teaching, and crafts. The mix of these different cultures in Egypt adds to the country's rich history, making it a place where many different traditions and languages come together. 11. Algeria. Algeria is a country in North Africa that once had a large number of French people. This started when France took control of Algeria in the 1800s, and many French citizens moved there. Algeria was part of France until it became independent in 1962. When independence came, many French people left Algeria, but their influence remained. French is still one of the languages spoken in Algeria today, especially in schools and businesses. The time when the French lived in Algeria has left a big mark on Algerian culture, including the way buildings look, some of the food people eat, and the arts, which blend French and Algerian styles. 10. Tunisia. Tunisia is a country in North Africa that has a noticeable number of people from France and Italy. This happened because Tunisia was once controlled by France, and many Italians also moved there for work. Tunisia became independent from France in 1956, but many French and Italian families decided to stay. They often work in areas like business, tourism, and education. French is widely spoken in Tunisia, which helps everyone understand each other better. The influence of French and Italian culture is seen in Tunisian food, architecture, and festivals, blending beautifully with local Tunisian traditions to create a rich and diverse culture. 9. Morocco. Morocco is a country in North Africa that has a significant number of Europeans, especially from France and Spain. This is because Morocco was once controlled by both France and Spain until it gained independence in 1956. Many Europeans stayed in Morocco because of its beautiful landscapes and vibrant culture. They work in various fields like business, education, and tourism. French and Spanish are still spoken widely in Morocco, along with Arabic, the official language. The presence of Europeans has influenced Moroccan culture, adding to its rich history of art, food, and architecture, making it a unique blend of African and European traditions. 8. Zambia. Zambia is a country in southern Africa that also has a white population mainly of British origin. This started when Zambia was called Northern Rhodesia and was under British control. Many British people moved to Zambia to work in mining and farming. After Zambia became independent in 1964, some British families chose to stay. Today, they are part of various aspects of Zambian life, including business and education. English is the official language of Zambia, which is a result of its British colonial past. This makes it easier for people from different backgrounds to talk to each other and work together in Zambia. 7. Botswana. Botswana, located in southern Africa, has a smaller but significant number of white residents, mainly of British and Afrikaner descent. Afrikaners are people originally from South Africa with Dutch ancestry, and they speak a language called Afrikaans. When Botswana was a British protectorate called Bechuanaland, British settlers came to live there. Even after Botswana gained independence in 1966, many decided to stay. These white communities are involved in various sectors, such as business, farming, and tourism. English is widely spoken in Botswana because of its history with Britain, and it helps everyone in the country communicate, no matter where they originally come from. 6. Kenya. Kenya is a country in East Africa where many people from Britain moved during the time it was a British colony. These British settlers started farms and businesses, especially in the cooler highlands, which reminded them of their home weather. They are often called Kenyan Europeans, and they mainly speak English, one of Kenya's official languages. Even after Kenya became independent in 1963, many British people chose to stay. They continue to be a part of Kenyan society, contributing to agriculture, tourism, and business. British influences can still be seen in Kenya today, like in their love for tea and some architectural styles. 5. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a country in Africa that also has a notable white population. Many white people in Zimbabwe are from British families that came to the country when it was known as Rhodesia. Rhodesia was a British colony until Zimbabwe gained its independence in 1980. The white population in Zimbabwe has been involved in farming and business over the years. They speak English, which is one of the official languages of Zimbabwe. Today, they participate in all aspects of Zimbabwean society, from politics to education. The history of white settlers has had a big impact on Zimbabwe's culture and its development as a country. 4. Mozambique. Mozambique is another country in Africa where many people have Portuguese roots. Like Angola, Mozambique was also once controlled by Portugal and didn't become independent until 1975. Because of this long history with Portugal, Portuguese is the official language spoken across the country. Many people from Portugal moved to Mozambique over the years and stayed there even after it became its own country. These Portuguese people and their families have been involved in various parts of life in Mozambique, including businesses and education. They continue to add to the culture of Mozambique, especially in the way people cook food and celebrate festivals. 3. Angola. Angola is a country on the west coast of Africa that has many people of Portuguese descent. This is because Angola was once a colony of Portugal, meaning it was controlled by Portugal until it became independent in 1975. Even after independence, many Portuguese people stayed in Angola or moved there for work. They often work in different jobs like businesses or teaching. Portuguese is still the main language spoken in Angola today because of this history. The Portuguese community has influenced Angolan culture, especially in the food, language, and some traditions that continue to be part of everyday life in Angola. 2. Namibia. Namibia is a country in Africa that has a noticeable number of white people, mostly descendants of Germans and Afrikaners. Afrikaners are people from South Africa who speak a language called Afrikaans, which is similar to Dutch. The German community in Namibia comes from a time when Germany controlled the area, which was more than 100 years ago. These communities have their own traditions and have mixed with local cultures over the years. Today, they are involved in various parts of Namibian life, such as farming, business, and government. The influences from Germany can still be seen in Namibian towns, in their buildings, and in some of the food. 1. South Africa. South Africa has the largest white population in Africa. Most white South Africans are from families that came from Europe many years ago, especially from countries like the Netherlands, Britain, and Germany. These people are often called Afrikaners, or Anglo-Africans, depending on where their families were from. Over the years, they have become an important part of the country's history and culture. Today, they live all over South Africa and are involved in many different jobs and areas of life in the country. They speak various languages, including Afrikaans and English, which are both official languages of South Africa. So this was all about today's video. Do let us know your thoughts in comments. Please subscribe to Travel the World. Thank you for watching.